It was the kind of night that wrapped around you like an old, damp blanket. A chill hung in the air, whispering through the cracked windows of the abandoned building at the edge of town. I was with a couple of friends, huddled around a flickering flashlight, sharing urban legends to ward off the creeping dread that settled in our bones. But no story ever rattled us quite like the Russian sleep experiment. "Have you guys heard about it?" Jake asked, his voice dropping to a conspiratorial whisper. "They say it was a real thing back in the 40s. Some Soviet scientists tried to push the limits of sleep deprivation on prisoners. It was supposed to be a military secret. But things went way wrong." A chill ran down my spine. "Yeah? What happened?" Jake leaned in closer, his eyes glinting in the dim light. "They locked 5 guys in a sealed chamber with this gas that kept them awake for days. At first, everything seemed fine. They were just a little irritable. But then, he let the word hang, drawing us in." "Then what?" Liz asked, her voice barely above a whisper. "They started hearing voices. Hallucinating. It got so bad that one guy ripped his own throat out. Another one just wouldn't stop screaming. The scientists were watching, taking notes like it was some twisted reality show. And by the end, they didn't even care about the experiment anymore. All they wanted was to get out." I shivered, the story sinking into the pit of my stomach. "What happened to the scientists?" Jake smirked. "Rumor has it they went crazy too. But the real kicker? They found some of the test subjects alive. And they weren't the same. Not even close." Liz rolled her eyes, trying to act tough. "Come on, that's just a story, right?" But as Jake went on, I could see the doubt creeping into her expression. "They say when they opened the door to let the survivors out, they just laughed. Like a deep, unsettling laugh that echoed through the halls. And when they were asked about their experience, they just smiled and said, 'We can't sleep anymore.'" The air in the room thickened, our breaths mingling with the musty smell of the building. It felt like we were all holding our own breaths, waiting for something, anything to happen. Suddenly, a loud crash echoed through the floor above us. We all jumped, hearts racing. "What was that?" I hissed. "Probably just the wind," Jake said, trying to sound nonchalant, but I could see the fear flickering in his eyes. We hesitated, but curiosity pulled us to the staircase. As we climbed, the old wood creaked beneath our feet like a warning. The faint glow of our flashlight flickered as we reached the top, revealing a long, dark hallway lined with doors. It felt like stepping into a horror movie. "Maybe we should go back," Liz suggested, her voice trembling slightly. "Nah, let's check it out," Jake replied, a little too eagerly. "It'll be fine." As we walked further down the hall, the temperature dropped, and we could see our breath fogging in the air. The door at the end of the hallway was slightly ajar, a sliver of darkness beckoning us closer. We exchanged nervous glances but pushed the door open. Inside was a small, dim room with a single dusty bed in the corner and an old mirror hanging crookedly on the wall. The atmosphere felt heavy, as if something unseen was waiting for us. "Is this some kind of joke?" I whispered, the hairs on the back of my neck standing up. Suddenly, the mirror caught something, a fleeting shadow behind us. I whipped around, but nothing was there. Just the empty hallway stretching out behind us, endless and dark. "Guys," Liz's voice trembled. "Let's just go." But before we could turn back, we heard it. A soft, low laugh echoing in the room. Not the kind of laugh that comes from joy, but something darker, more sinister. I froze, my heart pounding. What was that? Jake's bravado vanished. "We should go. Now." As we turned to leave, the door slammed shut behind us. Panic surged through me as I pulled at the handle, but it wouldn't budge. The laughter grew louder, now sounding almost like it was coming from inside the walls. "We're trapped," Liz screamed, her voice rising in terror. I pounded on the door, but no one came. No one could hear us. The air grew thick, suffocating as we backed away from the door. The laughter morphed into a chorus of whispers, filling the room with an unsettling chant, "We can't sleep. We can't sleep." And then the mirror began to ripple, as if something was pushing against it from the other side. I could barely breathe, my mind racing with thoughts of what those scientists had done. What if this place was a remnant of that twisted experiment? Suddenly, a figure began to form in the mirror, a gaunt face with hollow eyes, grinning wider than seemed possible. It was one of them, one of the test subjects. I stumbled back, my heart racing. "Let's find another way out." But as we turned to escape, we saw the walls closing in, shadows stretching and reaching toward us. The whispers grew louder, drowning out my thoughts. I felt a surge of desperation. "Get away from the mirror!" I shouted, yanking Liz back just as the figure lunged at us from the glass, a grotesque imitation of laughter escaping its lips. With one last effort, I threw myself against the door, adrenaline coursing through me. It creaked open and we rushed out into the hallway, hearts pounding, breathless with terror. We didn't stop running until we were outside, gasping for air in the cold night. Behind us, the building loomed ominously, as if it were watching, waiting for us to come back. To this day, I don't know what really happened in that room, but I swear every night when I close my eyes, I can still hear those whispers. "We can't sleep. We can't sleep." And I wonder, if I ever did fall asleep, would I wake up again? Or would I join them, forever trapped in that endless nightmare?